Hi, my name is Brent Wilson. I am the CEO and founder of Wilson's Consulting Firm. We've been hired to assess and examine your relationship and partnership with Red Bull Racing on the Formula One racing circuit. Before we examine your partnership, we wanted to take a little bit deeper look into your company as well as the products you offer, just to get a little bit better grasp on um, kind of what you offer, the products wise, as well as where you feel you're headed, to find out if this is a partnership that's worthwhile in the future. Just on the outside, keeping it very broad. Obviously, you're offering luxury automobiles that is very much geared towards performance, high end performance. And your biggest competitors, Ferrari and Mercedes, I think you fall in line with. Price wise, I think you're right there. You're probably actually a little lower than they are, which is nice. I mean, you're a cheaper option, but you're still offering the same quality and performance as those. And when we talk about performance, that segues me into the Formula One racing. When you talk about a racing team that's won 4 out of the last 6 championships, and that is right at the top on a year in, year out basis, Infiniti being their partner is never a bad thing. When you look at some of the things that Infiniti and Red Bull Racing are collaborating on to make a better race car and a better commercial vehicle, the first two things that come to mind are your scratch shield paint that you've discussed, as well as there's talks of revamping an engine and Infiniti being a major part of that. As a consumer, stepping back outside of the consulting role, I think that's intriguing because as a consumer, if I'm going to purchase an automobile that's high end, that's luxury, and I could potentially have the best of the best that drivers on the Grand Prix circuit have, that's something I'm going to want, and that's intriguing to me. Obviously, the Grand Prix circuit, Formula One racing, and the Red Bull Infiniti Red Bull team, the visibility I think stands alone on its own. The partnership is allowed for each other to be known as one. And whenever you see Infiniti Red Bull Racing, whether it be on TV, merchandising, you see your logo right there on top of it. And then now, obviously, with the NBC deal to show multiple races on NBC and the rest of the races on NBC Sports, um, now you're in everybody's living room on a consistent basis, to where they can see these races and see your brand and continue to develop and increase your brand recognition. Obviously, the Grand Prix circuit alone offers a tremendous amount of visibility as you have 20 plus races in numerous markets. And I'm not going to name them all. Obviously, you're familiar with it, but the fact that you're in Canada, you're in Houston, Texas, or Austin, Texas, I believe it is, Singapore, Abu Dhabi, you're talking Australia, the list goes on, and you really become a global brand in conjunction with the Formula One circuit. And that leads me into your market strategy as a company. Um, and you're talking about increasing stores and retail offerings on a global basis. Um, Already alone, you've added 20 more stores since the last year in China. You expect to even double that over the course of the next 2 or 3 years in China as well. And that's just China alone. When we talk on a global brand, and you've added stores in Mexico, you're adding stores in the Middle East, and your sales continue to increase, it's only beneficial for you to be partnered with somebody like Red Bull Racing on the Formula One circuit. Uh, your strategy, obviously, China is a massive market for you, and the fact that Formula One racing offers uh, luxury performance, that's what people who are purchasing high end cars want. And the fact that you basically doubled your sales and sold 30,000 vehicles in China compared to 17,000 in year one, obviously speaks to your brand recognition, but also to your increased stores in China. As you continue to increase stores, I think you'll see an improved sales amount next year. Obviously, this past year you were able to increase sales 75%. I think that you can even do better than that in the future. As you continue to put in more stores in Mexico and Europe and the United States and Canada and other continents as well, that I think is where your partnership with the Red Bull Racing will come in and be a very positive and lucrative deal for you in the long run. Obviously, we talked about as a consumer what's important to us and why it's an intriguing deal that I could potentially have that in my car. But I think another thing, one of the biggest thing is your concern is advertising, and the fact that the merchandise has your logo on it on a consistent basis. But how am I going to get into one's living room, and how am I going to achieve that brand recognition? Well, I think your platform, social media, and in doing our research, you look at Facebook with 4 million likes for an Infiniti Red Bull Racing. Instagram has 164,000 likes. YouTube has 140,000 subscribers, and those are huge platforms to be able to convey and get your brand across. Twitter has 3/4 of a million followers, and those are big things. When you're asking me, is this partnership worth it, and is my brand getting out there? Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. And as you continue to reassess the deal, and as we examine it for you, we felt that this is a lucrative partnership for you. It's a beneficial partnership for you because your brand is reaching millions and millions of living rooms through social media, through the races that are now shown on through TV deals. And we're not talking about just the United States or Canada. This is not a North America deal. This is a global brand that you have built, and the Formula One circuit is only increasing your exposure. It is a positive deal for you. It is a lucrative deal for you, and I think you need to look no further than China and what you've been able to do there. And as you've increased your stores, you've increased your sales 75%. And as you put in more stores, you expect to go from 85 to 150 to 200 within the next 3 years. I think your sales will only continue to grow in that market. And as Grand Prix racing becomes more and more popular in the United States and in North America, your sales in that area will continue to increase, which it has. Since the recession, Wilson Consulting Firm takes a look. A lot of times we want to know what your revenue is, because as a CEO, that's what it comes down to, is dollars and cents. In the United States, you've continued to grow your revenue. You've continued to increase your units sold. You've done the same thing in Canada. You've done the same thing in Europe and China. You've obviously done the same thing, and that's one reason that we feel this Formula One partnership with Red Bull Racing, Infiniti Red Bull Racing, is a positive one that I would renew your partnership. Thank you.